Northern Scandinavia and the Kola Peninsula, winter temperatures drop to minus 45 degrees Celsius, minus 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Arctic blizzards bring wind chills approaching minus 70 degrees Celsius. Before modern settlements, the Sami people lived here year-round, following reindeer herds across frozen tundra. They didn't just survive these conditions, they created one of the most effective portable Arctic shelters ever designed. This is how they endured the harshest winters on Earth. The conical structure called a lavvu was lighter and more portable than any other cold-weather dwelling. A family could dismantle one in 15 minutes, carry it on reindeer sleds, and rebuild it in under an hour. This wasn't just shelter, it was mobile Arctic engineering. Construction started with curved pine poles, each 10 to 15 feet long. Unlike straight teepee poles, lavvu poles bent slightly, creating a lower, wind-resistant profile. The Sami selected young pines that grew curved naturally. These poles weighed half what straight poles would. 3 poles formed the initial tripod, lashed together with braided reindeer sinew at 8 feet high. The reduced height shed wind better and required less material to heat. 10 to 12 additional poles completed the frame, each placed to create the distinctive oval base. This oval shape deflected wind better than a circle. Arctic winds found no surface to push against. The covering used 30 to 50 reindeer hides depending on size. Reindeer fur was hollow, each hair a microscopic air chamber. This made reindeer hide the warmest natural insulation on Earth, warmer than buffalo, elk, or bear. Hides came from autumn reindeer when fur was thickest. Women scraped each hide clean with specialized knives made from reindeer leg bones. The scraping took hours per hide. Next came brain tanning. Reindeer brains mixed with liver created a paste worked into every hide, making the leather soft and waterproof. The hides were smoked over birch and alder fires. Smoke killed bacteria and waterproofed the leather. These prepared hides were sewn using reindeer sinew thread and bone needles. Seams ran vertical so rain and snow ran down without seeping through. Each seam was double-stitched. A single weak stitch meant a leak, and a leak at minus 45 degrees meant death. The smoke hole at the top remained open, roughly 18 inches across. 2 overlapping flaps controlled this opening. Long poles attached to these flaps from outside let people adjust ventilation without leaving the lavvu. The base was secured with snow and ice blocks packed against a shallow trench. A separate door flap hung over the entrance. It was weighted at bottom with a wood rod. Push it aside to enter and it fell back, sealing automatically. Inside, the floor wasn't bare earth. First came birch branches in cross-hatch pattern, then dried sedge grass, then reindeer hides fur side up. This floor was 6 inches thick. A summer lavvu and a winter lavvu were entirely different. When temperatures dropped below minus 20 degrees Celsius, families installed an inner lining. A rope circled the interior at chest height. From this hung a complete second wall of reindeer hide, stopping 2 feet from the floor. Between outer covering and inner lining, dead air formed 8 to 12 inches thick. This raised interior temperature by 25 degrees Celsius. The bottom of the inner lining was weighted with smooth river stones. Outside, families packed snow blocks 2 to 3 feet high around the base, maintaining a 6-inch gap from the hide. Snow against hide meant rot. Some stuffed the gap with dried sphagnum moss gathered in late summer. The most sophisticated families constructed a garvu, a partial ceiling hung just above head height. This trapped warm air while preventing downdrafts from the smoke hole. The garvu had a hole aligned with the smoke opening. Warm air rose through, creating a chimney effect. The sleeping level stayed 10 degrees warmer. Each dawn, someone walked around tapping walls with a stick. Interior frost fell as powder and was swept outside. This prevented dangerous ice buildup. During extreme blizzards, families built a snow tunnel from outside to the entrance. This garrus trapped cold air and created storage space. If a blizzard buried the Lavvu, the tunnel meant they could dig out. The fire pit sat exactly center, equidistant from all walls. First, the Sami dug down 8 to 12 inches to mineral soil. Around the pit, they placed flat sandstone or slate stones. These absorbed and radiated heat for hours after flames died. Fresh air entered at floor level under the inner lining. Cold air flowed toward the fire, heated and rose. The conical shape funneled rising air toward the smoke hole. Natural convection created constant ventilation. Smoke exited even on windless days. Some families dug an air tunnel outside that ran underground directly to the fire pit. This provided oxygen to flames without creating drafts in the living space. On extremely cold nights, they could partially seal the main air gap while fire kept burning through its dedicated supply. Fuel was the critical limitation. The Arctic tundra provided almost no wood, yet they needed fire daily from October through April. Birch was preferred when available. A single tree provided 1 week's fuel. They needed 30 to 40 trees per winter. But most Sami lived beyond the tree line. Here they relied on dried reindeer dung. Properly dried, it burns hotter than many woods. The Sami collected dung throughout summer, spreading it to dry completely. Fully dried goik burned nearly odorless with steady heat. Children gathered it following reindeer herds. A basket lasted as long as an armful of wood. Other fuels included birch bark rolled tight and tied with sinew, compressed sedge grass bundles dried hard as wood and burned with surprising heat. Willow stems provided crucial kindling. In emergencies, rendered reindeer fat boosted fire heat dramatically. Soapstone lamps held rendered fat with twisted moss wicks. These burned for hours, providing light without smoke. The Sami never wasted heat. Cooking happened during fire's hottest moment. Stones were heated during cooking to capture warmth. This fuel efficiency bordered on miraculous. Clothing was the second shelter. The foundation was the pesk, a long tunic made from autumn reindeer hide, fur inward. Loose fit created airspace between body and hide. Over this went the gakti, an outer coat using summer reindeer hide that shed snow. The gakti extended past the knee. In storms, wearers could tuck legs inside, creating a body tent. Sleeves extended beyond hands. Excess fabric was held back during work, released to cover hands instantly when needed. Leg coverings were separate pieces, with double insulation where blood flow was farthest from the heart. Boots used leg hide from reindeer, fur inward. Inside was a loose boot of dried sen grass. This grass absorbed foot moisture while adding insulation. The grass was replaced weekly and dried for use as tinder. Multiple grass layers could be worn for extreme cold. The four-cornered hat deflected wind from face and ears. It was lined with fox or wolverine fur because these furs don't frost from breath. Mittens were huge, sized for an entire hand plus inner mittens. 2 or 3 layers could be worn simultaneously. At night, the gakti became a mattress. The person slid into a bijam, a sleeping bag made from 3 to 5 winter reindeer hides, sewn fur inward. Body heat trapped inside maintained comfort even if fire died. Food preservation was critical. Dried reindeer meat, called suvas, was smoked and lasted months. Fresh meat froze naturally after autumn slaughter. The ultimate survival food was giertnu, dried meat pounded to powder mixed with rendered fat and berries. 1 pound contained 3,800 calories. Cloudberries preserved in fat provided vitamin C, preventing scurvy. Dried fish hung from Lavvu poles in leather bags. Rising warm air kept them dry. Storage platforms called nyala stood on a single pole 8 feet high, holding reserve foods safe from animals. Winter camps arranged Lavvu facing away from prevailing winds. Multiple families shared fuel gathering, food preparation, and child watching. If one fire failed, neighbors provided shelter. Inside each Lavvu, 6 to 10 people lived through winter. Combined body heat, one small fire, and sophisticated insulation maintained 15 degrees Celsius while outside froze at minus 45. Every element represented thousands of refinement. The Lavvu wasn't just a tent. It was a mobile life support system for the harshest environment humans inhabit. This knowledge enabled entire communities to thrive where modern humans would struggle to survive a single night.